What is Extermination? Extermination is a game mode that was added in the 8.8 update, which features players fighting against the Grey Swarm for different rewards. This mode does not affect the player's rank and does not pit players against each other. The use of boosters is also unavailable. Extermination is a game mode which resets every 7 days 1 week. During this time frame, players can enter and complete various levels on different maps for the best rewards. Each level will have varying objectives, enemies, and modifiers, so it is important to carefully read the objectives, toolbox, and make a note of the enemies you will be encountering in each stage. In every stage, there is at least 4 objectives that are completed in sequence going from Icon Bronze to Icon Silver to Icon Gold and then Icon Platinum as represented by colorized emblems. For completing these objectives, you earn a corresponding medal for each objective. Some levels like from 3 and beyond will have 2 stages to them, as indicated by another tab on the right hand side of the Extermination U. In order to claim the specific rewards for such levels, the player must complete both stages and get the same medals. If the player gets bronze in the first stage but silver in the second stage, the player will only get the rewards up to bronze and not silver. The first level will typically have the least diversity in terms of enemy types. The typical enemies that a player can expect to encounter are Icon Tick and Icon Recluse. In general, this stage is also the easiest to complete. These enemies will start at mech 1. Exact level progression remains unknown, but will continue to get more powerful and difficult to eliminate as the player continues to progress through the subsequent stages. Rewards may vary, but typically it is as follows. The second level will have a bit more diversity than the first stage, including the Icon Court and Icon Wanderer, in addition to the Icon Tick, Icon Tarantula, and the Icon Recluse. However, the Court and Wanderer have randomized appearances and may not appear together in the same stage, with only one or the other being present at a time. Just like the first stage, these enemies will still be at mech 1, albeit stronger but not enough to a noticeable degree in most cases. However, level modifiers may increase the firepower or durability of these enemies. Rewards may vary, but typically it is as follows. The third level is the one level that will determine whether or not if a player can progress through the subsequent levels afterwards, due to its second hanger requirement. Additionally, this is where the Icon Bird Eater is introduced, adding in another enemy type to the existing pool of enemies that a player will encounter at this level. And subsequent levels, some enemies, including or not including the Bird Eater, will be at mech 2, which will be indicated in the kill feed eye. A Tick mech 2 or Tick Bite mech 2, while others will still be at mech 1. It should be noted that mech 2 enemies have stronger stats and more powerful weaponry. This can prove to be troublesome for players that don't have optimized playstools or hangers. The rewards for this level are significantly better than the first and second levels. Typically, it will be as follows. The fourth level is the second last level that a player can complete, as it features greater amounts of enemies. In addition to more difficult objectives, some of the enemies present on this level will be mech 3, which will be indicated in the kill feed i.e. Court mech 3 or Glacier mech 3, in addition to the mech 2 enemies, and as such, they have maximum durability and firepower, which can be further enhanced by level modifiers. While this level can be completed in a straightforward manner, new and intermediate players will struggle to complete objectives that give the Icon Gold and Icon Platinum medals. Due to their high difficulty and limited time to complete them, the rewards for this level are significantly better than the third level. Typically, it will be as follows. The fifth level is currently the last and final level in the Extermination game mode, where it features the Icon Bastion. Just like the fourth stage, all enemies with the exception of the Bastion will be mech 3 and deployed in greater amounts. However, they can either appear in waves or in streaming amounts. This level can be considerably much harder than the fourth level. Due to the Bastion and the various amounts of enemies that can spawn, the rewards are similar to the rewards in the fourth level except for keys. Typically, it will be as follows. Modifiers are attributes that are present at certain levels. There will be a tulip on each symbol that further explains each modifier in-game. Each one can influence both the player and the enemies. Description icon increases the damage dealt taken of the player enemies robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the damage dealt taken of the player enemies robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the speed of the player enemies robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the speed of the player enemies robots by a certain percentage. Icon adds a specified amount of defense points to the player enemies robot. Icon restores a specified amount of durability to the player's robot. 4. Destroying an enemy icon allows the player enemy's weapons to bypass a certain percentage of damage resistance. Icon increases the durability of the player enemy's energy Aegis shields by a certain percentage. Icon increases the damage of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the damage of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the durability of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the durability of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the speed of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the speed of the player enemy's Mecha 2 robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the damage of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the damage of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the durability of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the durability of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Icon increases the speed of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Icon decreases the speed of the player enemy's Mecha 3 robots by a certain percentage. Objectives are goals that are completed in each level. There are usually 4. If there are 2 stages in a particular level, then there will be more objectives, but there will still be 4 per stage. Below are some examples of objectives that have been observed in game. Deal as much damage as possible in one battle specified amount. Deal as much damage as possible with a titan in one battle specified amount. Destroy as many robots as possible specified amount. Finish the level as quickly as possible specified time. Income some casks. Lose as few robots as possible in a battle specified amount. Lose as little durability as possible in a battle specified amount. Drop as many robots as you can with a pilot inside specified amount. With each robot must have a pilot. Use orbital support. Use a mothership a specified number of times. Defeat the boss as quickly as possible specified time. Income some casks. Ticks and icon tarantulas will always appear in large numbers and will attempt to swarm you from as many directions at once. However, their pathfinding can be quite limiting, as they tend to follow a predictable path depending on what map the level takes place on. Use this to your advantage when planning ahead. It is best to use high damage burst weaponry such as Glacier or Hammer when engaging Icon Caracord or Icon Wanderer. Additionally, weapons and robots that possess Insight Avalanche or Seraph or some form of crowd control capability, Cinder or Minos, will also prove to be effective against multiple Icon Ticks and Icon Tarantulas when bunched up close together, while you can use any weapon or robot in the first and second levels. The subsequent levels afterwards will heavily favor certain weapons and robots, though to a lesser extent. Primarily ones that have high splash, fast reload, or high damage for weapons, and ones that have high speed, high durability, high firepower, and or crowd control capability for robots. The level of equipment, modules, robots, and drones will be extremely important for your success. When encountering the Icon Bastion, keep in mind its limited area of operation on the map and its various armaments. Remember that it is designed to be a difficult and powerful boss, so you will need to use whatever you have at your disposal to defeat it. But don't forget about the other enemies that will also be present alongside the Icon Bastion as well, in levels after the 3rd level. Icon Tarantulas will deal enough damage with their long-range attacks that will lock down and kill any flying robot in the air in a matter of seconds if there are multiple of them anywhere on the map. And as such, it is recommended that you minimize the usage of flying robots or remove them entirely from your hangar in favor for more suitable alternatives. To counter the lockdown by tarantulas, suppression and freezing by caracords, it is best to make use of anti-critolling or immune amplifier, as well as iron heart not necessary. harder to minimize the negative effects that impact your robots and weapons. The Karakord, Wonder, and Bird Eater will have diversified weaponry and potentially have some form of shielding, which will change for each subsequent time the game will resets at the end of each week. Some notable examples include Magnum Redeemer Karakord, Storm Wonder outfitted with a built-in energy shield, and Tempest Bird Eater. Hope you now understand everything about PvE to wipe out the Grey Swarm and grab all the weekly platinum. If this helped, don't forget to like and subscribe to support Legion Gaming. Good luck with your stage climb, and see you again!